Hello, everyone. It was so nice we did it twice. My name is H2O Happy Dude, and we are here for the HDMD podcast, also known as H2O Happy Dude's Mind Dump, where we just open up our mind and share off anything that is, off the top of our heads. This time it's actually being recorded live with a guest.
Yay! That's
And
me.
So we're here with someone who I've known for about 17 years and known him throughout the wrestling business, and we've been really good friends. I want to say founder of the Cinemassacast.
Yes.
You'll probably correct me if I'm wrong.
You're right. Well, co-founder
With Brandon, right?
with Brandon. Yes.
Okay. A panelist on Radio Free GTR. If I miss anything, let me know.
No, that's the two main things I do right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Dr. Wayne Camp.
Yay! That's me. Thank you. Happy to be here. Happy to be called doctor for once. Happy to show off my kitty. Happy.
For the audio listeners, you have to now, go to the Patreon to see the cute kitty. $1 tier will get you access to everything.
There you go.
So, we've known each other because of professional wrestling.
Yes, that is how we met.
And I was wanting to know exactly it goes further back than that, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does.
All right. So,
I started with professional wrestling. My grandfather was a professional wrestler in the 50s and 60s in this area, the Mid-South area. Ran his own promotion for a while. And, when I was young, Saturday morning cartoons, I would watch those. And then, of course, wrestling would come on. And for the longest time, I just wasn't interested. Of course, I was like 5, 6, And my grandfather showed me, no, wrestling is cool. And got me into it, and I was neck deep ever since. I watched, of course, we watched Channel 5 wrestling. And then, I would soon discover on Saturday mornings there was a lot of wrestling on television. There was World Class, there was the NWA, there was the AWA, there was a lot of stuff. And I consumed it all and watched it all, loved it all.
what's really interesting is that it would always be me and my brother would always sit down and watch Saturday morning cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really funny is that one of the things that, I wrote for Cinemassacast, Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House review,
Right.
that would always be on CBS at the same time as Saturday morning wrestling.
Right.
So it was either when it wasn't preempted by SEC Sports back in the day.
Yes.
But I got to plug in within the first 5 minutes. Are you happy?
The Cinemasscast.com. There
Yes,
we go.
we
Got it out of the way.
So we have been collectively for at least 34 years, if not 40 or 50 between the two of us. So my question to you is how has your consumption of professional wrestling changed since the COVID era of entertainment?
Well, I wouldn't say that it changed a lot. Mainly because I don't watch it as much as I used to. Not that I don't like it. I mean, I still keep up with it. I still watch, the recaps on YouTube and the highlights, and I watch This Week in WWE on the network. So I keep up with it. I know what's going on, but I'm not sitting there riveted like I used to be. And part of that is I'm older. I'm into other things. You know, I spent, you know, many years of my life, not to give away how ancient I am.
You were using an abacus back in the day, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's probably why I can't do math. That and too many shots to the head. But
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. Shut
Yeah.
up. Um, but I still watch it. I still keep up with it. You know, there are some things that rivet me now, but uh, the majority of it no. So the COVID era didn't really affect me, but I know it affected a lot of people. Just because of, I mean, a lot of people don't understand this, but a live crowd is the energy for that show, for any show. You know, we can both attest to working a show with no crowd or very small crowd.
Back in the TIWF days, that
Yeah,
but when we were in Jackson, we wouldn't regularly have packed houses, but if the weather was bad, we'd have maybe about 15, 20 people. That'd be the loudest 15 to 20 people, but it doesn't make up for the fact of the lack of asses every 18 inches.
right, right, and that live crowd. I mean, that's your battery right there. You know, when you come out there and whether they cheer you or boo you or want to high five you or whatever, that's energy that you're getting to put on the best show that you can. And if that energy's not there, it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
I can only imagine, you know, when you're used to working in front of 20, 30, 40,000 people, and then all of a sudden there's nothing. I can only imagine how hard that is.
Like, I can't remember who was with me, but I remember doing a double shot on 4th of July weekend one year. And I went to a TIWF show a couple of weeks before. And I was booked by Carnage Antoine and a couple of other people that knew that they needed a rest. So it's like, Snatch, you're coming with us. And I ended up getting.
You always need refs. Always need refs.
I ended up getting booked for the 4th of July show via Brandon Baxter. And there's a story that comes around full circle here momentarily, but that had to be that crowd of like maybe 200 people on a beach after it rained on a 4th of July had to be the biggest adrenaline rush that I've ever had.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And knowing for a fact that there is no one in the crowd, like for WrestleMania, there was no one in the crowd.
Yeah.
Not even the boys and girls at NXT.
Oh no, they hadn't started doing that yet.
It's like no, like maybe for the first month or so after lockdown, there was maybe you had it was after the Rumble, so the first major pay-per-view was WrestleMania, and there was nobody. There was nobody to feed off of, and it and I made a mistake of following a bunch of wrestling YouTubers, like Going in Raw and Cultaholic and Wrestle Talk, stuff like that. And when all three of them said that the show was going to be heavily produced and pre-taped,
yeah,
that took me out of it. Also, the uh, like, stop feeding fan noise.
Yeah, yeah. The artificial fan noise is yeah, it's not so bad now. If you're watching the Thunderdome, it's not so bad now. Uh, but yeah, back then it just sounded so phony. Uh, I like the fact that they chopped WrestleMania into 2 nights. They've been needing to do that for 5 years. Uh,
I don't know about that.
dude, Wrestle Kingdom is 2 nights.
It wasn't 2 nights until this recent year, though.
No, it's been 2 nights for a while, hadn't it?
To Google.
To Google. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but look, when WrestleMania got to the point where it was 7 hours,
Oh yeah,
I'm just like, I mean, it needed to be 2 nights. I thought that was good. I liked that. Uh, but and I like the fact that when there's no live crowd, the promos have more impact. No pun intended. You actually get what the person wants to say and not them playing to the crowd. I like that. But as far as matches go, yeah, it's a little weird when nobody's there.
the Wrestle Kingdom 14 was the first one to go 2 nights, January 4th and 5th.
This year?
January 4th and
last-
5th, 2020.
Huh. Okay. Like I said, I might be crazy. I have taken a lot of shots to the head over the years. So I don't claim to be the smartest person or the most rememberable person.
The
So,
the triple main event for night one was Takahashi and Ospreay for the junior heavyweight title, Naito and Jay White for the Intercontinental title, and Okada and Ibushi for the heavyweight title. And then that led into the double title match on the 5th.
okay.
Wait, Jericho worked that card?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. If you beat me, you get a shot at the AEW World title. That never fucking happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Now let's talk about AEW for a second.
Okay.
Like we said, when all this first started, WWE went straight, no crowd, no nothing.
And moved it to the Performance Center.
Moved it to the Performance Center. AEW, they started putting workers in the crowd, and that gave it a little bit. That gave it enough to be more than just dead silence.
Right.
And I liked that. Plus, it gave them more avenues for anglers.
Like,
You know.
give me, like, even if it is 20 people standing 7 feet apart from each other, I would rather have that than the artificial bullshit that they're giving.
Oh
us.
yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and the idea.
I'd watch a whole show of MJF watching wrestling.
Good night, everybody.
I'd watch that whole show.
You know, a buddy of mine, Ernie Blurred Without Fear, he also is a huge MJF fan, and like, there would be a small part of me that would walk up to him and just like kick him in the dick and then run for my life. However, after seeing that man in person at the December 5th show that was here in South Haven, I don't know whether or not I'd actually want to do that.
All I know about the guy is that he never breaks character.
No. Him and Orange Cassidy. Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know that much about Orange Cassidy, mainly because he doesn't do a lot of interviews or anything like that. But
he did a
MJ
couple of for C2E2 last year
yeah.
when AEW had their presence after All Out or Double or Nothing. I can't remember. But when they started launching their toy lines, that they started bringing in like Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, MJF. This was at the point in time where Cody had that really shitty neck tattoo, and he was wrapping it. He was wrapping it with a scarf in Chicago heat at like the middle of July, which has got to be one of the biggest mistakes I have personally seen someone make.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the tattoo or the meaning of the tattoo, it's just the location of it.
Yeah. If that tattoo had gone on his arm or on his leg or something like that, it'd have been fine. But right there on his neck, that's so stupid. I don't know why he did that.
Yeah, so the funny thing is that like when they announced that they were going to bring in Mike Tyson to do the belt presentation for the TNT title, my initial thought was that like Cody wins with a shitty neck. Cody wins with a shitty neck tattoo presented by a guy who's a boxing legend with a shitty face tattoo. All that you are like 6 to 8 inches lower from turning it into a shitty face tattoo.
And a shitty belt on top of that.
Look, okay.
Remember that?
Okay.
It was only half done.
Okay, here's my thought process on it. The way that it was presented as what appeared to be like silver plated with a red stripe with the letters TNT Champion on it. The problem with me started with not the belt itself, but the name of the championship.
Okay.
The idea of it being a TNT Championship.
Right.
Like, what happens if they lose TNT? God forbid it actually happens, or it's defended on pay-per-view, or it's weirdly enough, if it's defended on Dark, it should be called...
I think the television championship.
Exactly. The AEW television champion.
Right. But I can see the point of that is so old school. And AEW is about not being old school. So what television station are we on? TNT. Well, then it's the TNT Championship.
Now let's get to that fucking belt. Okay.
It looks good now that it's done. But back then, it was only half done.
Okay, when it was presented, it was the silver with the red strap. The more and more I started seeing it on TV, the more and more I started getting attached to the silver with the red strap. And here's why. The idea of having a championship is that let me rephrase that. To have a belt identified with a champion is to basically have a visual representation of that man being a champion, right?
Right.
So the belt, the way that it was, the more and more it got seen on TV, the more and more that you start being desensitized on the fact that it was not a finished title.
That's true.
To where when I went back and watched the Brody Lee Cody match, that was the first time that I personally have seen the finished belt. And the way that it is now, I kind of like the silver and red instead of the silver, gold, and red. Yeah. But that's just me personally.
Well, it's like you said, it's more of you got used to it the way it was.
Yeah, it's kind of like how for all those years the WWE United States title was the way that it was from the inception to 2020.
Yeah.
And then they go ahead and fucking change it
Yeah.
by putting it on someone who basically stole the title from Apollo Crews and starts wearing it as a fake champion.
Yeah, that whole storyline is stupid.
And plus also the way that they brought in the title means a lot, because like I said, the storyline between Apollo and MVP, that what set up for the belt to change the way that it looked.
Right.
You also had something that is like what, 16 years old at this point, and then they change it. The AEW title, yeah, the TNT, fuck it, the AEW television title is the TV title, the way that it was, or the way that it is now. Yeah, I'll get used to it, but I prefer personally the unfinished one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm quite the belt mark.
And see, I don't get hung up on the belts as much as a lot of people, because I mean, let's be honest, they're props.
They are,
and they're props to help tell stories. So I don't get hung up on it that much. Now, there are some things that annoy me, like I get heat for this all the time. I hate nameplates. Harley Race never wore a belt with a nameplate. We don't need nameplates on the belts. We know who they belong to. The side plates that WWE does, that's kind of cool. That's kind of nifty. But when they started putting the nameplates right on the front, I'm just like, that is stupid. No point in that at all.
I'm super indifferent when it comes to stuff like that, because it's like, if you like the side plates and you do not have an issue with the side plates, then personally,
I think that's cool.
Me personally, you should not have a problem with the nameplates, and here's why.
Okay.
Nameplates are identifiable. You know the person that's holding it, and basically it shows identity of the belt itself. Basically, it's like, hi, I am the World Heavyweight Champion. No, to the World Heavyweight Championship. I am held by Ric Flair, because Ric Flair, to my knowledge, was the first one to ever have a nameplate on his belt.
Well, he had, when he created the big gold belt, he had his name engraved into the design of the belt.
That's what it was.
That's how it started.
But it basically was the predecessor to the nameplates.
Yes.
So, like, case in point, in the WWE, for the big spinner belt in particular, no, it was a world heavyweight title. When they integrated the big gold belt into what they were doing, right,
that's where the nameplate started, because that's where Flair's name was.
Right.
So that's where it started.
But where they fucked up on it was when they would put a blank nameplate right before a fucking title change.
Yeah, it's dumb. Look, the side plates are cool because it's not just their name, it's their logo, it's their, catchphrase, and it works into the belt design. The nameplate, to me, the nameplates are just like writing your name in your underwear. It's just a big blaring name. There's no design to it. There's no style to it. It's just a plate with their name on it. And it's like, I can look at your face. I know who you are. Your name doesn't need to be there.
All right. I got you. You have turned.
I convinced him.
You sold me on the writing the name on your underwear.
Yeah, that's what it is. If lost, return to John Cena. It's dumb.
Speaking of which, like I understand over the past couple of years that that they've died off. But what is your opinion on? I think they had the spinner belts on WWE television for almost 10 years.
Uh-huh.
And I remember hearing in the documentary for, I can't remember if it was the Edge or the Cena documentary, but they had it to where, like Edge said that he hated the spinner belt, and when they just plastered his logo over the WWE spinner belt.
Uh-huh.
What is your thoughts on individual titles for particular people? Because like the Fiend actually has his version of the Universal title recently.
It's just his face. Yeah. I don't have a problem with specialized belts. You know, they did one for The Rock, they did one for Stone Cold, and then they made the big spinner belt for John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that one was when Cena wasn't the champion, they still used that belt. And unlike a lot of people, I don't have a problem with that belt. It was flashy, it stood out. That's fine. But it was made specifically for Cena. So when Cena didn't have the belt, we need to go back to another belt. It just makes sense to me, you know.
And to see Triple H with that spinner belt.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I mean, to me, a championship belt should have some reverence to it. You know, like I said, it is just a prop to tell storylines. I understand that. But if the storyline is this is the best person in the company, then there should be some reverence to that belt and the way it looks. The current ones are fine. I don't. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just a big WWE logo." Well, okay. What's wrong with that? But I don't have an issue with the specialized belts as long as it's just for that person. Nobody else ever wore the Smoking Skull. You know, nobody ever wore the Brahma Bull other than The Rock. And I don't even think he wore that one that long. I think they just made that one for him to sit at home.
I think it was a one of on TV when Austin brought the Smoking Skull.
Mm-hmm.
They brought it on Raw once.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
And they had a pissing contest over whose belt looked better, but anyway. Well, we've been on Wrestling Talk for a good part of this first half hour.
Yay.
So my question to you is going to be on the realm of entertainment as a whole.
All right.
Because we are in the Corona era of entertainment, as I like to call it. Have you noticed that there has been a different trend as far as entertainment goes? Because we have the Netflix, the Hulu, the Disney Plus, the HBO Plus, like all of these, not to mention HBO Plus has been very, very recent since the, I want to say it, was announced and launched, since the coronavirus.
They had plans for it before, but yeah, I have no doubt that it was maybe not rushed, but like we need to get this out there because people, you know, are looking for it.
Well, like the idea of entertainment has changed over the years because you have so many people cord cutting as far as traditional television. Like you also have your YouTube television. I think it's like $70 a month gets you like 120 access to 120 channels. You have the network, WWE Network. You have IWTV. What has changed over the past couple of years as far as entertainment, and what has now been in your mind considered to be the standard form of entertainment from this past April?
Well, we for the long time we've been moving away from cable. It's gotten to a point where cable is just not affordable anymore. Plus, you get into the realm of, okay, let's say you're paying $120 for cable. That's every month, and you get, let's just use a round number, 100 channels. You get 100 channels for $120 a month. In that month, how many of those channels do you use?
ESPN,
Maybe,
Cartoon Network, Food Network, TNT, USA.
right. So you barely use, let's say, 5% of those 100 channels. Okay. We'll even let's go to 10. 10%. So you use 10 channels out of 100. What are you're spending $120 a month to watch 10 channels? We used to pay nothing and watch 5. Okay. So the thing about it is, and the cable companies know that in a lot of areas, that's the only choice you have. Okay. The internet is still not as prevalent as cable television. So I think for a long time we've been moving toward this streaming and the way streaming works. Now, depending on how many streaming services you want, it can get just as expensive as cable. But you're buying what you want to watch. If I have a streaming service and I don't never use it, it's gone. I can cut it out. So you can't do that with cable. I can't say take these other 90 channels away and cut my bill down to $20. They won't do that. With streaming, you can do that. You know, like I had HBO Now before it became HBO Max. And I watched Game of Thrones. And then I watched Watchmen. And after that was done, I was like, there's nothing else on here I want to watch. So away it goes.
So
and
you spent like maybe $14.99 for that first month, and then all of a sudden it's like it's kind of like the I call it the Netflix paradox, to where like you go in like for me, I'm such a fucking nerd. Okay, so I would go in.
He is.
I would go in and I would binge the entire series of Power Rangers, or as much as I fucking could.
Right.
Then scour Netflix, and like Netflix is a good chunk of either movies or television I never watched growing up. So there's no like. I think at the time where I started binge watching Power Rangers, it was that and Reboot. Then I just stopped watching Netflix after that first free trial month, because I'm a cheap bastard like that. And just canceled the subscription.
Yeah.
Because like there's only, like, unlike YouTube, you have like Slow Mo Guys, the Rooster Teeth Family Network. You had the Let's Play. You have, like, I don't watch these people, I'm just using them as an example. Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, Markiplier, Funhouse. You have a plethora of stuff for free on YouTube. And you can go lose about 90 hours of, a week easy just surfing YouTube for free.
Mm-hmm.
And then here comes the WWE Network having their free free service.
Yeah, let's put that in quotation.
Free
Content. Yeah.
with everything everything you want to watch behind a fucking paywall.
Yeah.
So when you realize that there's no, it's kind of like when you retire from a job. You've done everything that you could at that position. They won't give you anything else, and then all of a sudden it's like, I'm done. I'm out. So you just leave the platform.
Now, I will say that there are some streaming services that I subscribe to that I don't use all the time, but they are, I call it, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That's Netflix, that's Amazon, that's WWE Network, which, you know, they just recently put up some independent promotions that I got really excited about. That was a case of, I'm glad I still have it because they put something up there I wanted to see.
Was it Progress, ICW, and
Evolve? Yeah.
If they have the old Evolves, I'll pony up the $9.99 for it.
I don't think they have anything old up there yet, but I know that they're working on it.
Okay. So when I hear that they've updated it with Evolve 1 through 100, that's when I'm getting in on it.
Yeah. I from what I understand, they're working on it. It's all newer stuff, but ICW, I was like, there's a hardcore promotion on the network. How did that happen? But anyway, back on topic.
Mm-hmm.
So streaming, I think streaming is getting better and better all the time. There are so many different, like, you can specialize. Like I have BritBox, and BritBox is all British television, and it's amazing. I have Broadway HD, which is all stage plays and stage musicals, which I love.
The internet is for porn. The internet is for porn.
The other day I watched The Toxic Avenger the musical.
That's actually a thing?
Amazing. Yes, it is amazing. But
I must watch.
You can find your geek in a streaming service somewhere. And they're usually not that expensive. BritBox is $3.99 and Broadway HD is $4.99.
And not to mention, I think the name of it is Shout Factory.
Shout Factory has theirs. Troma has theirs.
Shout
Full Moon Pictures.
Last time,
Shout Factory.
Power
Rangers.
Yeah, last time I checked, they had the original Sentai series. And they also have the full series of Reboot.
Yep.
Which is
they also have the full series of Starcade. If you're old like me, you will remember Starcade.
Oh God.
It's a game show where they played arcade games.
Yeah, I found
like actual, not Nick Arcade where they made up games. Actual arcade games. The actual machines were on the stage and they would play them.
So what makes it hilarious is that I found out about Starcade when I started finding, like, binge watching old G4 coverage when they announced that they were coming back at the first of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So, because it's like, all that I remember is Attack of the Show. And going back even further than that, you had the screensavers and God, what was it? Arena back when it was G4 before the merger. And I was just like, what is... Oh my God. I just sat there and started binge watching episodes of Starcade. And I'm like, where was this when I was a kid? And then it dawned on me we had Nick Arcade.
We had Nick Arcade, yeah. But back to your original question.
Yes.
COVID. The big thing that happened with COVID was theaters shut down. That was the major blow from COVID. So streaming services got more popular because people were at home and they wanted to watch movies, they wanted to watch TV. A lot of the major movie studios went, well, why don't we take some of the they wanted to test the waters, so they would throw out I don't even remember what the first movie that they did it with, but they put it out video on demand, which is basically streaming.
The first one that I can remember going straight to video on demand was the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Was it? It might have been.
That's the one that I remember personally going straight to, because I was more invested on the hot garbage dumpster fire that was the original CG trailer than the actual movie itself. So I was keeping track of it.
The movie was awesome. I loved that movie. But yeah, that original trailer, you were just like, what the hell is that?
That's not my Sonic, goddammit.
That's not my Sonic. But yeah, the shutting down the theaters, and then the film distributors and the film creators trying to figure out a way to get their money off of their product. And they quickly found out that, hey, we could put it out video on demand and make just as much money.
Because everyone wants to see it anyway.
Because everyone wants to see it anyway. And let's be honest, I'm a huge movie person. I watch movies all the time. I don't go to the theater anymore. It is a nightmare to go to the theater now. Mainly because the people who do go to the theater are trash. Let's just be honest.
You're not lying.
They won't shut up. They're rude. They're obnoxious. And, they act like they're watching a movie at home. So let's all just watch movies at home. It's easier. And I don't have to want to kill people.
Actually, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie was released before the pandemic.
Okay.
But I seriously
I know there was one that got released video on demand because the theaters were shut down, and like all the theater owners went into a panic because it made so much money, and they were like, "Oh my god," and like AMC and Universal had this big argument about it, and all that stuff. But I mean, it's the way the future is. I mean, I don't want the theaters to completely go away. I kind of like what a lot of theaters are doing now, where they're showing classic movies. I would love to be able to go to a theater and watch an old movie that I've never been able to see on that big screen. To me, that's an appeal. I like that. But they need to look at a system of, okay, we're going to put it out in the theater and we're going to put it out video on demand at the same time. That way, people who want to go to the theater and see it can go to the theater and see it, and the people who want to stay at home and watch it can stay at home and watch it.
So one of the movies that was released during COVID that went straight to video on demand was Mulan.
Well, Mulan is kind of a special case. Mulan was going to go into theaters, and I think the theaters that are open have access to it. I think Disney, did send it out, but their main thing was, okay, we're going to put it on Disney Plus. We're going to charge a premium price for it. It's not included with the service. You have to pay, I think it's $30 to get it for, I want to say 2 months, like 6 weeks or 8 weeks, something like that. And then in December, it'll be part of the service.
Well, once again, my stupidity oversees everything else. The release date for Mulan was March 9th in Hollywood. So it was specifically released for the LA market, I guess. It had a budget of 200 million. It was released September 4th for the rest of the United States via Disney Plus.
Right.
So it claims that there's a box office of 64.4 million.
Mm.
So between March and September, there was an assload of people watching it. Now, in order for them to break even on the movie, hold on. Where? No. I don't want to know that Christina Aguilera was on the fucking soundtrack. Mulan's world premiere was held at Dolby Theater in Hollywood on March 9th. The film was originally scheduled for November 12th. 2018 theatrical release was delayed. It was rescheduled for March 27th, 2020, before being released from the movie release calendar due to the pandemic.
Yeah.
In order for them to break even, Variety estimated that Mulan would need to be viewed by 8.4 million Disney Plus subscribers, which is 13.8% of the entire viewer base. Wait, 8.4 million people being only almost 14% of the viewer base on Disney Plus?
Yes. Yes. And see, the problem is the $30 price point. If they had put it up there for $10, they would have gotten a lot more views. They also would have gotten a lot more views if it was a better movie. But that's neither here nor there.
Mm. This one's for free. If anyone from any streaming service is listening to this, have a select number of new releases, new as in the calendar year, and have people rent them a la carte.
Yeah. There are lots of services out there that do that. Like personally, I use Vudu. That's VUDU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can buy movies there, you can rent movies there, and it's a great service. And there's a lot of them that are just like that. Redbox has an app where you can stream and rent movies.
It needs to be the standard, though.
I agree, but we go back to the point of the internet's not everywhere. There's a lot of areas that still either have no internet or have very low basic internet. Like they're still on dial-up. So there are a lot of places where streaming is just not possible. And I would hate to live there right now in a pandemic, because I would be bored out of my mind.
Yeah, I think I would too, to be honest.
But yeah, I mean, just the $30 price point was way too high. It was way too high. And I'm still not clear on whether that $30 lets you keep the movie, or if you only get it for a few days. I'm still not clear on how that works. But either way, it's way too high. If they had put it at like 10, maybe 15, I think a lot more people would have gone for it. I like most rentals on Vudu are like $7, and you get to keep it for like 3 days. So I don't know what Disney was thinking.
Well, Disney seemed to have wrote their own Wikipedia page.
Oh yeah,
because it's like Disney Plus has been well received thanks to its affordable price.
Well, Disney Plus is affordable. I'm just talking about Mulan.
Oh,
Mulan itself was $30, and you get it basically the appeal was you get it early, and I'm just like, no, I'm not paying $30 to get it early.
For $30, I better have a hot girl show up at my door to give me a handy for the extra 20.
Right, while we're watching Mulan. Yeah.
Ta-da!
But no, Disney Plus itself is very nice. I bought it. Of course, I'm a theme park nerd, so I'm a member of D23. So D23 members got 3 years of Disney Plus for $100, and I jumped on that like a cat on a rat.
So how much is it per month? Like $7?
I want to say it's not that cheap. I want to say it's 15 a month, something like that. It's equivalent to Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, it's equivalent to Netflix. I just wish Netflix would go the route of I love the ones that offer a year. You can have a year for blah, and I always go for that because it's always a better deal, and I don't have to worry about it for a year.
So you go to DisneyPlus.com. This is not an advertisement, by the way. You can either sign up for Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus for $13 a month, or sign up specifically for Disney Plus for $7 a month.
I stand corrected. That is awesome.
18 plus only includes Hulu. The Hulu is ad supported.
Yes. Yeah, Hulu has 2 different tiers. One is with ads and one is without. I think the one without is $12 a month or something like that. Of course, it's been proven that I don't remember these things, so
Noggin.
Yeah.
You get domed too much.
Way too many blows to the head. But yeah, and the ads on Hulu are not that bad.
No, it's like maybe 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah, they're not bad.
It's like, hi, you're watching our service with limited ads because you're too cheap to buy the premium package. Hi,
right.
bye.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. So, and alone, the Hulu and Disney Plus together for that price is not bad at all.
No,
I don't really know much about ESPN Plus, so I don't know if that's worth it or not. But
I think the only perk that would actually benefit me personally is that they do. I can't remember if it's UFC Fight Pass or ESPN Plus that has the prelims of all their fight cards.
Okay.
Like I'm going to their website right now, and like ESPN Originals, which
the what is it, 30 for 30?
Yeah, you have access to the full 30 for 30 library.
Okay, I would love that. I would love that.
ESPN Plus, not an advertisement. I'm just reading off the screen. Is your destination for all things UFC, including pay-per-view.
Wow. Okay.
Fight nights, Dana White's Contender Series, and detailed the mind of Daniel Cormier. Blah 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 blah. Knowing that I can get every single UFC pay-per-view for the less of the price of a traditional UFC fucking pay-per-view. Like I can go tell my dad right now, hey, we need to cut cable now.
Yeah. I cut cable a long time ago. I haven't had cable in probably 10 years.
So
I do everything through the internet.
So looking at this with the quote unquote premium Disney Plus package being Hulu, Disney, ESPN, averaging around $4 a piece. You have the WWE Network at $9.99 right now with the free with a free version, which is nothing but table for three for me.
Yeah, yeah. The free options are limited.
You have New Japan World. You have Netflix. You have cornucopia amounts of free stuff on YouTube. So there is no reason whatsoever to have cable.
There's really not. As long as you have internet, and it needs to be good internet. If your internet is weak, you're gonna have trouble. But yeah, if you have a good strong internet service, there's no reason for cable at all.
All right, we're coming up on an hour. I just realized we've been bullshitting for that long. Dr. Wayne Camp, where can the people find you?
You can find me at thecinemacicast.com. That is our movie and television review, quote unquote, site. It's a lot of fun to put that together. Will is one of our featured authors. It's a lot of fun. And you can also find me at radiofreegtr.com. That is our weekly podcast all about the world of geek. And we do that every week.
So I want this to be on video.
Okay.
But you said, and I quote, Will, you're a fucking genius. Can you confirm that this actually happened?
I can confirm that I called Will a genius because on the cinemacicast.com, our article that came out this week, Will wrote something that leads into next week, which some of you might not understand that. How does that work? You got to go to the website and read the articles, and you'll see how that works.
It was specifically the best Halloween movie.
Yes.
And if you go read that article, you'll see what's leading into the true horror that I had to sit and watch again and again and again because there was more than one episode on YouTube.
Yeah. I didn't put them there. Don't look at me.
No, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking. I'm feeding my hatred towards the people who uploaded them. But yeah,
and just to be clear, I'm not a real doctor. Don't come after me.
No,
it's just a stage name that I was given a long time ago because every promotion has to have a doctor.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, dude. Every independent promotion in the entire world has somebody who is called doctor, and
or physically has a doctor on site, or like someone dressed in scrubs.
Yeah, there's always a manager or an announcer who is called the doctor. And just one day, here's a little tidbit. I started working for the Real Wrestling Federation here in Memphis, and I was going to be the owner / commissioner. I don't think we ever really decided which one I was, so I just decided I was both. And the guy who owned it was like, "Well, what do we call you?" And I kind of racked my brain for a minute, and he went, "You know a lot about wrestling, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know a good bit." "You're the doctor." And I was like,
"Nice,
Dr. Camp. Sounds good to me." And he was like, "Yep, every promotion's got to have a doctor."
You know,
like,
what?
All right.
What makes this really hilarious is that you didn't go this entire hour without calling me Opie, and I appreciate that.
I only call you Opie when you are wearing a ref shirt and you are causing me grief as I'm trying to get my charge past your crooked officiating and winning a match. That's when you are Opie.
Anyway.
Let's try it. 1, 2.
So before this gets out of control, I actually muted him through OBS. So whatever he's saying right now, I can hear, but the lovely people cannot. So Wayne Camp, cinemazcast.com, Radio Free GTR, go check him out. And my name is Will Blanton, aka H2O Happy Dude, and you can check me out on Twitter at H2O Happy Dude. You can check out the podcast Twitter, HDMD Podcast. You are more than welcome to submit questions and whatnot, and I'll get to them when I get enough of them for a Q&A episode momentarily. Next week, we have another friend of mine, Brody Scott. He's going to come in and talk, hopefully, about... Can you do that again? I now unmuted you.
I said, yay, Brody.
So Brody Scott will be in next week to talk about the generalization of podcasts and how much it's boomed in the COVID era. So catch him on next week's episode. Hopefully I'll have this up. If this is up before Monday, then probably actually do that live on Twitch. We're not 100% sure on the exact timing and how that's going to work, because as you can see now, up here and down there, there's nothing but black bars, so I'm going to kind of work on that after this. So, HDMD Podcast on Twitter. I am now uploading to a new RSS feed. If you are listening to the sound of my voice, you have found the correct one. If you haven't, go check out the Twitter, and I'll send you... Yeah. So... For Dr. Wayne Camp, my name is H2O Happy Dude Will Blanton, and I will see you guys on the next episode of the Happy Dude Mind Dump. Bye. Oh, and I also forgot, all music that you've been listening to has been brought to you by OC Remix. So, bye.